Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: South Carolina man convicted of turtle smuggling charged with turtle abuse in Georgia. Jets Irvin Ch takes control of his long, winding journey to playing in the NFL. Virginia State House candidates face questions about residency requirements. If Sean McVay's first child arrives on a Sunday this month, the Rams will have to play without him. Israel sends elite troops into Gaza as spearhead of powerful offensive. South Carolina man convicted of turtle smuggling charged with turtle abuse in Georgia. The Toronto Star. A man from South Carolina, who was previously convicted of smuggling protected turtles between the U.S. and Hong Kong, has been arrested in Georgia on new charges related to turtle crimes. Stephen Vernon Baker has been charged with 15 felony counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. Deputies responding to a call about an abandoned dog discovered turtles being held in a basin in a pile of trash. The turtles were found to be suffering from malnutrition, infections, sepsis, and shell deformities. Baker pleaded guilty in 2018 to smuggling wildlife and served over 2 years in federal prison. Jets Irvin Ch takes control of his long, winding journey to playing in the NFL. The Toronto Star. New York Jets wide receiver Irvin Ch has had a difficult journey in his path to playing in the NFL. Charles was elevated from the practice squad to replace an injured player and delivered an instant impact in his first regular season play. Charles's journey to the NFL has been anything but immediate, but he's determined to make the most of his opportunity. Virginia State House candidates face questions about residency requirements. The Toronto Star. Virginia state lawmakers are required to live in the district they represent, as well as in any district they might be seeking to represent. If they move out of their district, the state constitution says they are out of office. If Sean McVay's first child arrives on a Sunday this month, the Rams will have to play without him. The Toronto Star. Los Angeles Rams head coach Sean McVay will miss a game if his first child is born on a Sunday this month. McVay confirmed that he and his wife, Veronica, are expecting their child in the next few weeks. He did not provide details on the team's contingency plans for his absence, but defensive coordinator Raheem Morris has previous head coaching experience. McVay has expressed his desire to be a father for several years and has previously considered stepping away from football. The Rams are currently 2-3 and will host the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. Israel sends elite troops into Gaza as spearhead of powerful offensive. Telegraph. Israel has sent elite troops into Gaza as preparations for a ground offensive continue. The country's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, has warned that the operation will be protracted, powerful and will lead to a permanent change in the Palestinian territory. Israel has given 1.1 million people living in northern Gaza 24 hours to leave the area before it begins its offensive. The Israel Defense Force, IDF, has said that localized raids have already begun to locate hostages and to cleanse the area of terrorists and weaponry. The IDF said on Friday night that it was already engaged in an extensive attack on Gaza after it targeted over 750 sites from the air. Hamas has urged civilians to remain in their homes in Gaza City, where the ground offensive will be focused. The White House has warned that evacuating over 1 million people from northern Gaza in 24 hours is a tall order in such a densely populated area. The Archbishop of Canterbury, the Most Rev Justin Welby, has called for a humanitarian corridor, as Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, has called on Israel to protect ordinary Palestinians. Why a Catholic nun sued the Louisiana Board of Pardons. Yahoo! Sister Helen Prejean, a Catholic nun famous for her service to death row inmates, is taking her anti-death penalty activism to a new level in Louisiana. How soon after a COVID-19 infection can you get the new vaccine? Yahoo! If you have an active COVID-19 infection, you should not get the updated vaccine to minimize the risk of potentially exposing healthcare workers and others to the virus, says William Moss, MD, a professor in the Department of Epidemiology, Molecular Microbiology and Immunology at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Instead, the CDC recommends holding off on getting the COVID-19 vaccine until you have fully recovered from the acute illness, are symptom-free and meet the criteria to end your isolation, Verywell Health reports. Long-promised GLSDB munitions on their way to Ukraine report. Yahoo! The Boeing/Saab joint venture is set to deliver the first batch of ground-launched small-diameter bombs, GLSDB, to Ukraine, according to a company official. The Ukrainian military will also receive launchers for GLSDBs. The GLSDB is a joint development of Boeing and Saab and can be launched from Ukraine's existing HIMARS and M270 rocket artillery systems. The munitions use an inertial navigation system and GPS for target acquisition and glide to their intended target after launch. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the six-dimensional world, bringing you the latest news from all corners of the universe. Let's dive right into today's stories. First up, we have a man from South Carolina who seems to have a peculiar obsession with turtles. This individual, who was previously convicted of turtle smuggling, has now been charged with turtle abuse in Georgia. It turns out that he was keeping the poor creatures in a basin amidst a pile of trash, and they were suffering from various ailments. Talk about a turtle nightmare. In the world of sports, we have the inspiring story of Irvin Ch, a wide receiver for the New York Jets. His journey to the NFL has been anything but smooth, but he recently made an impact in his first regular season play. It just goes to show that persistence pays off, even in the face of challenges. Moving on to Virginia, where State House candidates are facing scrutiny over residency requirements. Apparently, lawmakers in Virginia must live in the district they represent, or else they're out of office. It's like a real-life game of musical chairs, but with politics. Now, let's talk about something a little more personal. Los Angeles Rams head coach Sean McVay might have to miss a game if his first child is born on a Sunday this month. It's heartwarming to see a coach prioritize family, but I can't help but wonder what the Rams' contingency plans are. Maybe they'll hire a baby whisperer as an assistant coach? In international news, tensions are escalating in the Middle East as Israel sends elite troops into Gaza. The country is preparing for a ground offensive that they claim will lead to a permanent change in the Palestinian territory. This is a serious situation that requires careful consideration and diplomatic efforts to find a peaceful resolution. On a lighter note, we have a Catholic nun in Louisiana who is suing the Board of Pardons. Sister Helen Prejean, known for her work with death row inmates, is taking a stand against the death penalty. It's inspiring to see someone fighting for what they believe in, even against powerful institutions. And finally, we have some vaccine news. If you have an active COVID-19 infection, it's best to hold off on getting the new vaccine. Let's not expose healthcare workers to unnecessary risks, shall we? Once you've fully recovered and meet the criteria to end your isolation, then it's time to roll up your sleeve. That's all for today's news. Remember, folks, stay informed and keep your sense of humor intact. And now, I turn to you, my wonderful audience. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any burning questions for me? The floor is yours. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.